in heavier traveling light. There's one thing that's right wherever I go. That's where I am.
Is that an exfoliating glove? What is that?
It's just a glove.
It's just a regular
Is that
glove.
an MJ glove?
I don't know what that means.
MJ?
MJ?
Like Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a Michael Jackson.
Michael Jordan? No, there's two of them.
I don't know if he made those noises we
Yeah, he
just
did.
did. Welcome to the show. Welcome to This Week in Zoltan, everybody. Episode 403 coming at you. Definitely not right after we recorded 402.
Zoltan changed his outfit.
I changed my shirt and my hat. And then, is it noticeable? My friend Al Snow and his wife gave me this shirt. Thank you, Al and Jessica.
If your mom was here, she'd say, "He's not your friend."
These famous people are my friend. I remember when who was it that came? Someone came to the show, and I was like, it was like someone.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, this person's my best friend now, and she's like, they are not your friend. But Al Snow is my friend. We had lunch. And he gave me a bunch of stuff, and we talked wrestling. I had such a. Do you remember how much I was glowing after that?
Yeah, you were.
It was a good time. Anyway,
I've been given that. I tend to say, like, oh, I know that's a buddy. I call people a buddy that, like, I've interacted with a handful of times. Like the drummer from Driving and Crying. When I was doing radio in Atlanta, the main guy was the friends with that band. And so I hung out with them a couple of times, socially, and they got brought up somehow. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I know the drummer and a buddy of mine." And Becca, "You don't know that." I was like, "Well, I hung out with him a few times." She goes, "Dude, why are you lying and saying this guy's your friend?" I go, "Well, what do you mean lying? Like, am I bragging that the drummer from Driving and Crying is my best friend?"
No. I've noticed that when people are like, trying to keep it cash and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know this person, we've hung out many times," the thing that always does it for me and tells me that they're lying is they say they're so nice.
You'd be so surprised.
You'd be so
They're, like,
surprised.
So kind.
So kind.
you know what my giveaway for? And this isn't about a famous person, just a phony person. As long as they're not old. If they use the term, they're a dear friend of ours, and I'm like, you don't know that person at all.
Yeah.
A dear friend, either that or you do know them, but the relationship is purely transactional, and they do something for you, and you might do something for them. Oh, that's a dear friend. I have very close friends that I would consider family. I would never refer to them as a dear friend.
Am I your dear friend?
We're married. We're
Am
beyond.
I your dear friend?
Wait, no, I'm saying
It's
dear.
not a trick question.
You're his best friend, dear.
There you go.
Good job.
Thank you.
Flipperoo.
Thank you, therapist Mike.
Yeah.
Coming in
It's so
hot.
weird. He really feels like a therapist.
I think because we talk about
Or
a
like
lot of.
Guys, if you could focus, you guys are getting a little off track. Focus on the problem so that we can come to a what?
a resolution. Understanding.
Resolution.
Slow down, listen, rinse and repeat. Those are the.
Have you ever had people reach out to you that aren't, like, when someone says, "Oh, dear friend"? I had somebody reach out to me on LinkedIn the other day, yesterday, that felt like they were trying to be. I don't know what it was. Can you tell me? Can I read you this LinkedIn post?
Please. This was a message to you.
Yeah, 'cause you were talking about, like, people pretending they know somebody,
Right.
or,
Yeah.
whatever. I just got a message on LinkedIn, and you tell me when you think it starts to sound a little scammy.
Oh, God.
Or I don't know. It opens with, I won't say their first name, but her last name is Albany. So already I'm like, oh, that's okay. There's not a ton of us,
Right.
but here we go. Subject, your cousin, maybe. Like, all right. So I think we may be cousins. A friend of mine recently saw you on a podcast and called me screaming, saying, "Hey, I found another Albany. I'm also from Philly. My father's name is Mike. Something, something, something. Blah, blah, blah." Anyway, I know very, very little about the Albanese, and I hope you're doing. It looks like you're doing well. Okay, calm down.
She doesn't know about you.
But then she says, I'm not reaching out for money or to ask a favor. I just want to introduce myself. And I was like,
Red
well,
flag.
I didn't, none of this made me think you were going to ask me for money
But now,
or a favor. But now I do.
wow.
I'm like, so do you think I should ask her for money or for a favor?
You know what I think this is?
Wait, that's how she ended the message?
Well, then it was like, hope do something. Here's my phone number in case you want to talk. I was like, this seems strange. Like, because now it seems like she's hitting on me, and I'm like, but I thought we were cousins.
I actually think
seems-
I think she might actually be your cousin, and it's just the Albanese nature to be weary of each other, and so she doesn't want
Yeah.
you to
knows you.
think that she wants money because she would assume that if you reached out that you would want money. So then she's like, it's not like I want money or anything or a favor, and you're like, she wants money or a favor.
Also, why is she reaching out on LinkedIn? She could have reached out. LinkedIn is like the place to do business. Reach out on Instagram.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I just realized that she said my friend or something heard you on a podcast, so it might be this podcast. So I want to apologize to my cousin and her friend. I am going to reach back out because I love like connecting with people that I didn't know I was related to. I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Also,
But the money thing, I was like, also good luck.
I don't think
Try to get water from a stone, baby.
I don't think she's going to be offended. She's a fellow Albanese from Philly. I don't think you can offend these Philadelphia types.
That's a good
You
point.
know?
You can. You just tell them the Eagles aren't good.
Tell them that Jalen Hurts isn't worth the contract his name is on, which he is, Super Bowl champion. That's so cool. Have you ever had a potential family member reach out?
I actually have, yeah.
Yeah. You have cousins
I have
like
a
all over the
cousin in
world.
Australia that reached out.
Yeah.
Same last name?
And then you guys did the work and you guys are related?
Yes.
Wow.
And then I asked my mom about it, and she's like, yeah, she's related to you. I'm like, oh, didn't know about her. And then
Wow.
that's it, yeah.
That's so cool. I've never had that. I had my real cousin that I do know reach out to me when I was like 10, and then we shared a couple of emails, and then I'm like, that was it. But I already met him. Like, it wasn't a new cousin. I was like, yeah, how are you? How are you doing, Peter? In case you're watching. I have a cousin named Peter. I think he lives in the UK. I
have a cousin that I found out that I lost contact with that side of the family, and one of them passed away, and then I reached out to the brother. I was like, hey, how you been? It's been like 30 years since I've like seen this guy. But he's like, yeah, just hanging out, bartending. I was like, cool. And that was really the end of the conversation. But it was like, oh, maybe if I'm in Philly in your neighborhood, I'll come by your bar someday.
Yeah.
And I would like to.
Why is it so hard to talk to people? Because it's like you want to. I don't. Maybe I'm projecting my own insecurities when I talk to people, but when I try to connect with people, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to make it weird. So I mainly just go, hey, how's things? And then they don't want to be weird or too oversharing. So they're like, good. And then you go back to you, and I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. I don't tell them about the crippling anxiety or the fear of failure or, blah, 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 whatever. And they're not telling me their thing. They're not telling me about their, erectile dysfunction or whatever's going on with them. And then we just kind of go, yeah, maybe we'll catch up sometime.
I think that's pretty normal. Remember Love on the Spectrum, where they went and they talked to the lady that taught them how to interact in social situations?
Oh, that's
they
right.
They said, keep that stuff for the second or third or fourth date.
That's true.
So you're doing great.
Thank you. I'm so glad I'm doing well. Sometimes when I'm talking, I'm like, oh, what do I say next? You ever have that moment, Mike, where someone's sharing and it's nothing big? They're just telling about their thing, and then I'm like, I have to think of what to say after they're done, and I'm always kind of unsure.
Well, that's where I think vulnerability comes into play, and that should be a question. I've learned if someone's sharing something about them, and then you go, how do I say? You go, oh, tell me more. Or ask a question about what they're saying, and then you open them up, and then it shows that you care.
I see.
Emma, would you like to respond?
Can I throw this out?
Yeah.
What if you're talking to someone? This is not someone you're close with. It's someone you might know or someone you bump into every once in a while, but they say something you genuinely have no opinion on. Like it's something so benign and uninteresting that you have like nothing to add to it. but you don't want to just look them in the eyes and go, oh, what do you do then?
I deal with that all the time on this podcast. All the time.
I was knocked over the microphone.
You're like, oh, you just described 403 episodes.
Well, but it's different because you know me and you love me, so you can tell me, hey, I genuinely don't care about Scott Steiner, the action figure you have on your shelf. But, like, imagine if you didn't know me. Imagine if I was, like, the UPS driver.
Right.
And then I'm just telling you about,
Then you make a decision of whether you want to be fake or genuine and say, buddy, I don't give a shit.
I think you're always on the cusp of saying that to someone.
It's true.
Mike, because I people please the hell out of people. I'm like, you don't say. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. One time that worked against me. I did the Seattle comedy competition. Excuse me if I've said this story before, but it was during Thanksgiving. So one of the producers, Peter, invited us to his in-laws' place for Thanksgiving since we were away from home. It's very kind of him. And so it was me, Dave Merhesh, who you can see on the show Rami, and
love Dave Merhesh.
Dave Merhesh is one of my favorites, and the movie Sometimes I Think About Dying.
Such a good movie.
Such a great movie.
One of my favorite movies.
So I was there with Dave Merhesh and Graham Kay. Graham Kay is a hilarious comic. Opens for Nate Bargatze. Has a great special on YouTube. So these are the two guys that got invited to. They were from Canada. I was from San Diego, whatever. So we go over to their house, but both of them. That competition's really hard on just emotionally. We are now gone from home for 3 weeks. Dave was having issues with his then girlfriend. They were fighting. Graham had just broken up with his girlfriend like the day before. Mm-hmm. So we're at these people's houses, these like nice people. They got clocks everywhere. They got a collection of old clocks. Too many clocks, quite honestly. And they're just down in the dumps. Like they're not because they're sad. They're not engaging with these people that invited us into their home for damn Thanksgiving. They're just kind of being jaded and kind of quiet. And so I'm like overcompensating for them. And I'm like, oh, tell me more about these clocks, And I'm like I'm trying to pick up the slack because my people pleasing isn't being spread evenly amongst the party that I came with. And so anyway, we get through dinner. The next day, Peter, who's honestly, I love Peter, but he's also very honest. He's Midwest and very honest, but nice. He goes, oh, thanks all three of you for coming to Thanksgiving last night. My in-laws really loved you two. And points to Graham and Dave. And he excludes me. And I was like, I was the one picking up the slack. I was the one. If it wasn't...
Well, they said you kept bringing up clocks, and they were like, enough with the clock.
They could tell you didn't mean it.
I think they could tell. I was like, this guy doesn't mean any of this. He's just uncomfortable at how quiet his two buds are. And he's trying desperately to pull this weight. Oh, man. So, yeah, sometimes people-pleasing gets in the way. Because then it makes me seem disingenuous or ungenuine, whatever the word is. So, yeah. So be it.
It's like you mentioned Love on the Spectrum, and I feel like that's. Do you watch Love Is Blind?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you on the new season?
No. Are we?
Or maybe.
It's pretty.
Which one is the new season?
Pretty good. Yeah. Minneapolis.
Sorry.
Maybe.
Minneapolis.
I'm learning that Love on the Spectrum is the same thing as Love Is Blind.
How so?
And not like in a mean way. But in a Love on the Spectrum, like, it's very surface level. And I'm going to do the Australian accent because I feel like they're all Australian in Love on the Spectrum. But like, do you like Disney? And they're like, I love Disney. Like, we should be together. That's Love Is Blind. They're like, your favorite color's red? Ah, I think of my wife. It's the same thing, just more dramatic. Yeah. It's the same show.
It is the same show.
My favorite color's blue. Oh, me too. We should get married. It's the same show, just one's a little bit more like thoughtful than the other.
So, Love is Blind is Love on the Spectrum, just with gym memberships, because these people are like in shape and they have filler and yeah.
And I'm going to say this real quick for people that watch Love is Blind. Something you notice, they're always talking about body types with women. They're like, oh, like just because I'm this or that, or I'm not the ideal, whatever, that's the blind part of this. You know, like they'll have tall girls, small girls, big girls, you know, tiny girls, weird girls, eccentric girls. They got the same dude every season. There's not one portly gentleman on that show that's... It's never the guy that's like weird physically.
Very true.
It's so
or like
true.
unique physically. Yeah. It's always the women that have the broad range, and it's like, how dare you ask me a question about? It's like, but all these dudes are just skinny, weird, regular dudes.
Did you ever watch the Love Is Blind Dubai? Was that the one it was? It was Dubai.
No.
Oh, we started it.
Yeah, remember how?
Is it in English?
They dub it.
Yeah.
And the guys on that show are all just so misogynistic and like, just it blows your mind. I mean, obviously it's a cultural difference, but to watch it like from here, it's mind blowing. Like one of the guys doesn't want the girl that he's seeing to dance. It's like a deal breaker for him. Like she's not allowed to dance.
And I was like, yeah, I remember.
He sees her dance. Or if he finds out she dances.
Like she she goes to like dance class and she likes to dance.
Yeah,
and
that's like her thing.
It's a deal breaker for him.
And I was like, I remember watching that. I'm like, what if she one day falls rhythmically? Like, you know how you stumble and every once in a while you like hit a jig on the way down and you're like, that's dancing. This relationship's done. We're out of here.
Yeah.
What does he like though? That's what I want to know. I don't want her to dance, but I also don't want her to go outside.
Yeah, they say it openly. Like, I don't want you to work. I don't want you to like go out with your friends. Like, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once we're married, it's you're locked.
Yeah.
yeah, you're in. But also going back to like Love Is Blind, having all the men are ripped and the women can be all shapes and sizes. I feel like that's casting overall in Hollywood right now on TV shows, like on movies too. And I think it's in response to like the years and years of like portly men who are just like for some reason married to like Selma Hayek or something. And you're like, how the hell did you get Selma Hayek? And you're like, well, you know, through his talents and whatnot. But we were watching that one movie where all the women were like, they looked like they were just got done with pregnancy and they were hitting the cheese pretty hard. And all they were, listen,
it's just a descriptor I didn't think I would hear, but perfect. And also very rude, but I like.
I mean, that was my polite way of saying it. People look like they were wheezing the dairy.
This cheese-eating new mom. Okay.
I'm not saying that was their character. I'm just saying it looked that way. But all the men were like I remember
this lady's got 3 kids and a wheel of brie.
Every woman came into the scene with a wheel of cheese with just gnaw marks on it. And like, hi, how are you? Hey, I didn't know you were coming. Let me put this wheel of cheese down. But the guy of attraction was like well in shaped. You know, he's like skinny and he's like older and whatever. And the girl was younger and just huge. And which is cool because they're trying to make up for years of it going the other way, you know? So I get it, but it's very noticeable. And I'm sure it was noticeable back then.
It's a show about will these average men be okay with women that are not perfect to some people?
Right.
Like I don't know, the whole thing. I can't stop watching it, but it's also like I don't know.
But it is you know why I think it's perfect is because they have that moment where they open the door and they see each other. Mm-hmm. And if you cast 8 perfect, beautiful men and 8 perfect, beautiful women, you're not going to have that moment of like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me about the mole with the hair in it?
They had that in the Dubai one where the doors open and the girl sees the guy and he's short.
Oh, yeah. And a little heavy.
And a little heavier.
Tiny bit. Yeah. Like American.
Yeah. And like you can just see it on her face, like she won't touch him, and it's so uncomfortable to watch, but so good.
So wait, the Dubai one, do they like run after each other and hug and hold, or is it never because
they
it's
don't
like culturally
they don't
not...
sleep in the same bed like on their big honeymoon or whatever. And they don't like kiss or anything like that, but they hug and
Wow.
And they come out with an eagle,
wild...
like where they come out and they all just have a giant hawk on their arm.
What?
Sorry, that's something I'd noticed culturally. When I think of Dubai, I always think of a guy with like a hawk with a rope on its foot. And like for some reason, every time I'm on Instagram, there's like a guy from Dubai. He has like a giant hawk, and he's like, "Look at my hawk." I think it's just my algorithm. I think that's what it is. I get a lot of bird stuff.
See, my vision would be that they open the doors and then he immediately starts throwing gold coins at them. I don't know why. That just...
Yeah, that one's...
And like he's wearing all like Gucci head
It is
to
like
toe.
that. It is kind of like that.
But seriously, you guys have never seen just a guy with a hawk?
All right.
And he's from Dubai?
I'm sure I've seen men, I've seen hawks, I've seen them together. I guess I just don't see that as a Dubai.
And then he's like a prince. He's like, "Look at my hawk." And they're like, "Whoa. That's the first thing you show me?" Nobody. All right.
No.
All right. Different algorithms.
Don't ask for mine.
That'd
be a fun show. That'd be a fun... Wait. Love on the algorithm? Trade phones, but you don't see each other or talk, and you just go look at your
search page.
Your search page or like your recommended videos, and then just be like, can't... Because it would be just like, oh, this guy likes magic tricks, food videos, and butts. All right, I guess...
Magic?
You watch Magic?
Is Magic one of them?
I love Magic. Yeah.
Mike loves Magic.
You didn't know this?
No.
Oh my God! I used to do Magic. I used to do when I was a kid in like middle school and high school. I would do like parties and stuff.
Wow.
I would like dress up sometimes as a character. My mom was a clown. Have we talked about that?
I think he mentioned the mom being a clown.
I have a bit about it, but my mom was a birthday clown.
I didn't know that you did Magic though.
Buttons.
Were you
Buttons
the clown? And were you Magic Mike?
No, I don't think I had a name, but I'd go to like Magic like seminars and like view like classes.
Yeah.
With like famous magicians.
They had Magic school. You can go to school and then they teach you different things.
Do you still do little tricks here and there?
I have a couple in my just kind of in my repertoire. It's funny you mention that.
Here we go.
Do you have like a favorite magic trick?
I don't even know.
Or like a classic one I could show you?
And
you're gonna be like, does Mike really like magic, or is he's just throwing that out there for a bit?
I always like when you guys do the pick a card and you're like, "Is that your card?" And you're like, "Yeah, that was my card."
Yeah, that was my card. Okay, can you see the full screen here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Watch this. Ready? Nothing in my hands. Watch this. Oh wait, where'd it go? It's stuck in purgatory.
Whoa.
Now watch. I just want to make sure you don't think I'm like dropping.
Right. It's in his fist. Wow. Holy guacamole.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
Now, you'd think that was nothing. But this is how much I enjoy magic. It just happened to be right next to my camera.
Whoa!
You just had that laying around on your desk.
Yeah, I said I like magic. I was like, wait, I think I have a fake thumb right next to me.
Can you imagine if they had a housekeeper that came in and there's just a magic thumb? Ugh.
That's where you keep the cloth.
Oh, you're showing us behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's where the hanky was.
Oh wow.
In the fake thumb. Oh my God.
So when I go like this, I go, watch, let me pull it out. I'm actually just taking my thumb off.
Oh, that was the plastic sound I heard.
I thought it was just...
Oh, yeah, I guess I'm doing it right in front of the microphone.
I thought that was just the sound of the handkerchief, like it was a cheap handkerchief. Plastic sound.
A guy that doesn't practice, he does this. All right, where'd it go?
You know what I don't like is when
Love magic.
You know, like silent magicians.
Yeah.
Where they don't talk. It's all just, and then they do it, and then they're doing the trick in front. I hate it when they do that because sometimes I don't get what they're trying to do, and then the reveal, I was like, oh, that's not what I was paying attention to. I didn't know I was supposed to. Do you ever have that moment where you're watching like silent magic, and I was like, oh, was I supposed to look at that? I thought it was with your hat. I was looking at your hat.
Well, that's magic. Magic is just look over here. That's all.
I get that, but like when they're making something disappear, I didn't realize that it was gone because I was already focusing on something else. It's kind of like
again, what you're saying is this is what you're saying, and if I can just boil this down real quick for you, Zoltan, and I don't want to say this like I'm coming off as some sort of magic expert, but compared to the three of us, I would be the one that you would ask the question.
Yes, you are.
That's like saying, I don't get it. I'm hungry. I eat food. I'm not hungry no more. What happened? That's how it works.
I guess I'm not.
That's how magic.
I'm not
is. No, don't say it again. Because you're saying the same thing.
Yeah, let's just change the subject.
No, I'm not explaining it well enough.
I don't get it. I pick a card, and then he figures it out.
No, I get those.
What's going on?
I get those tricks. Like the trick you just did, I totally understood. You're like, I got nothing in my hands. Now I have something in my hands. Now, the thing I had in my hand has disappeared. I get those. But every once in a while, with the big stage ones, they'll do like, right. I'm like, I didn't know. You're like, wait, what are you making disappear? Because I didn't realize you had it. Like sometimes they'll do the three rings, and they're like, there's one ring, there's three of them. And I'm like, all right. And then they'll do the thing where they interlock and outer lock. And sometimes I'll like daydream or something. And I'm like, yeah. And then I'll come in later and I'll be like, I kind of missed that one. But I notice everyone's clapping, so I'm like, does that make sense? I think I zone out or I focus on the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I saw 2 magic shows when I was in Vegas before we did Wise Guys together. That trip, I saw 2 magic shows. Yeah. I saw Shin Lim.
Did he tell us he's too busy to hang out, and then that's what he was doing?
Oh, no.
What are you talking about? I was hanging out the whole weekend.
He did tell us about Shin Lim.
Shin Lim?
I saw Shin Lim, and I saw Piff the Magic Dragon.
Oh, I remember this. This. And I think we did talk about him doing magic. I think you and I have the memories of a goat. Yeah, goats don't have memories.
Do you do mind reading, too?
No. I mean, I think I've done some stuff like that before, but it's all. I mean, it's just like
Mentalist.
It's just parlor tricks. It's not.
But they're good.
They are good, but they're I don't like when people say that they can do mental tricks, and they that annoys me because it's like this is like I'm pretending that this cloth came out of nowhere, but we all know that it's a trick, right? But when mentalists like pretend like they can talk to your dead family, or they're like, "Duh." It's like you got to at least can you let us know that you don't believe what you're saying?
Yeah, so you don't trick us.
Like, just let me in on the fact that you know that you're not talking to a dead person.
Right.
Or a spirit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not talking about like psychics, but like mentalists will do like I'm going to guess your nickname or something. Remember that time that guy guessed your hotel room number?
Oh, that was so creepy.
I was on a cruise ship. I think I might have told you the story, but if I didn't, I was on a cruise ship. And the other act was a mentalist, and he invited me to dinner, and I was texting with Emma, and she's like, "Oh, are you texting with your lady?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was a new relationship, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Oh, she's in Miami. You were somewhere," and she's staying at a hotel. And he's like, I've been working on this new trick, he didn't call it a trick, but this new thing for the stage. Do you mind if I work it on you?" And I was like, "Yeah, go ahead." And he goes, ask her what room number she's in, and don't show me, just leave it in your text. And I was like, okay. And then, so I ask her, she gives me the room number, and he's like, all right, now I'm going to open a picture I took on my phone in my room before I came down. It's just an envelope with a number written on it. Is it the same number? And I looked, and it was the same number as her hotel room.
Now, here's the part of that. Do you want me to try to burst your
Please.
bubble or no?
I think this guy's a witch. That,
yes.
Yeah.
So, and I'm asking because I don't know. So if What did he do first? Did he show you the number on his phone, or did he ask you what the room number was before he revealed the phone?
Now that I don't remember. Because it's been enough years that I couldn't tell you exactly which happened first.
I think he asked first, and then he showed it.
Yes,
yeah.
and that's the whole trick.
So he has like 1,000 numbers in there?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's a whole thing where like there's people, they'll have like video, swear to God. Well, no, there's only 999 options usually.
What a lame trick.
It's not, because all tricks are lame. All magic is lame once you figure out how it's done, because it's about the I don't want to get too industry on you. It's about the illusion of it all.
Pro wrestling.
Is it once you find out? Yeah. So he's probably like this going, so wait, okay, this is crazy. What number is it? And then while he's standing here, he's like finds the number, and then boom, look what it is. Right. It's all you got to think about when they ask for it. There's a great trick where a guy can pick any card randomly, and he has a box on the table, opens the box, there's a deck of cards, and he hands the cards to the people. Right. It's not a trick deck where every card is blank except for your card. And he can do that with any card. But it's not, it's technology. There's mechanics.
Correct.
The mug that he puts on the table is mechanical, is a magnetic mug, and he can turn the mug so underneath there's 52 decks with one card flipped over. In every deck, it's a different card.
That's crazy.
And he turns the mug because he knows where the card is, and then when he opens the box, that card is sitting below it in the little... It's like, the whole thing's fucking crazy. I'm sorry. The whole thing's an illusion. I get real pumped about magic.
Now it makes...
I lose all sense of where I am.
I like the idea of showing up early to a mentalist, and he's just under the table, like, screwing in all these decks. Like, I'm not ready yet. Please get out of here. And he's over there. There's tools everywhere. Decks of cards. Yeah. IKEA wrench.
But yeah, it's really dumb when you figure it out.
Yeah.
Like it's all a plastic thumb.
Right.
It's all about the thing that's right in front of you, but you don't see it.
Interesting.
It's kind of like when you...
I apologize for blowing
No, it's okay.
Blowing the guys.
It's like...
No, that actually, like, that makes a lot of sense now that he said it.
Yeah. That does make a lot of sense. Because for years, I was like, that guy's a witch. I can't believe he's only on a cruise ship. That guy should be letting us know when the next terrorist attack is, or telling the future.
Yeah, and wasting his talents.
Yeah. Stop creeping on my girlfriend's room number. Yeah.
Before you moved here, I had a variety show, a monthly variety show where it was 2 magicians, 2 comedians.
Really?
And a band.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was the best. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
And there was a magician that I booked that I still, like, I love being able to figure out magic, but I'm just because I love the art of it. Not like to blow up their spot, but there's shit he was doing. I was like, what?
Yeah, like you didn't know.
Like, it's so many layers of like places that could screw up that if you get one thing wrong, and then it's like, and then he just flips it out. It's crazy. Yeah. The guy's unbelievable.
I think the best. I mean, this was on TV, so they could have faked it 1,000 different ways. But Chris Angel used to have a show on A&E, Mind Freak. I don't know why I said that like Trump, Mind Freak, but
he's a freak of the mind.
But he was on a tour bus. The tour bus is going down the road, and he was doing pick a card, any card kind of trick. And, you know, people pick a card, they put it back in the deck, and then he just grabs the deck and throws it at the windshield, and all the cards fall except for one.
Yeah.
And it's the card, but they have to pull over because the card that's the one is on the outside of the window. It's not on the inside.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a good one. That one stuck with me after however old that show is, 20 years. So you're telling me that card was just stuck out there from before? Probably.
I can tell you, well, sure, but I don't want to burst your Chris Angel bubble.
Pedophile?
And I'll say this. He's done a lot for magic. He got a lot of people interested in magic, which I think is great. You propel the art forward. That being said, everything Chris Angel does is a camera trick on his show. Everything was just in the camera.
Right.
And how you know is because he goes, the camera will not cut from here on out. Every time there's no camera tricks, it means there's camera tricks. It's look over here, not over here. It's no camera tricks. It's a camera trick. Like it's all.
This is why you thought your cousin was going to ask for money, because she's like, I'm not going to ask for money.
Probably. Yeah. And I'm always looking in the hand that we're not supposed to be looking at. Because that's where I want to go. That's where I'm looking.
Interesting. So he's kind of like Matt Rife for comedy, in the sense that maybe other comedians don't appreciate what he's doing, but he's going to get a lot of young people interested in comedy because they're going to see this guy doing theaters or arenas, whatever, and they're going to be like, that guy's in my age, or my age group relates to whatever that guy's doing.
You know, surprisingly, I've really enjoyed this episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Before we...
Was it the magic talk?
Love is Blind, magic. Like, I'm liking it.
Good. Before we...
Can I share my screen? I want you to see what... Hold on. Oh, here it is. Literally, this is what I'm doing on my other tab. Like, I'm not lying about liking Love is Blind.
You're not even...
I genuinely think it's cool.
I love that you're not even watching it with Becca. This is just what he's doing on his free time.
I have to watch it when he's out of town because he doesn't want to see it.
Or if we watch the season together, I say, don't watch it without me because I want to know what's going to... Remember that time we watched the beginning and then once they paired off, we fast forwarded to the end just to see... Because, like, the middle part, it's like... Did you drop my toothbrush? Like, it's like the most pointless.
Yeah, sometimes the seasons are boring.
Yeah, sometimes. It's kind of like Alone, you know?
So that's what Becca wants to do. She'll want to watch. She'll just go get to the honeymoon, get to the breakups.
Yeah.
But I need the context, you know?
Yeah.
I need to know what's going on. Why do they hate each other? What was he saying?
Yeah.
I enjoy it. And then I got screwed on reality television. I had nothing to do with it until the pandemic.
Yes.
And then Becca goes, you know what you would love? Below Deck.
Below Deck.
And I go, she's bugging me. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. It's hard pandemic.
Yeah.
Nothing to do. I watched every episode of like 7 seasons, 10 different versions in like 3 days. And I'm like, give me more. And then I just branched out to other Love is Blind, freaking
90 Day Fiance.
I got a little bit of the 90.
Oh,
90
we
Day,
did a
but
lot
then
of 90
A lot
Day.
of that.
Summer House. Give me some Winter House. Give me some all the weird dating shit. Like, I love it. I'm all in.
Yeah, we
I can't help
we
it.
did a lot of 90 Day.
Oh, yeah.
Back and to the Front.
Yeah.
Send me back to my country. Trump's in office.
I had never
all
heard
the
of
different
90 Day
versions.
Fiance until the pandemic.
Yeah.
And
same.
so when I discovered it, I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is so cool.
And then remember when we found out my mom watched it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we started bonding with your mom. over
Yeah,
90
because
Day.
then we would talk about characters and I found out I used to do a bit about it. What did I find out about my mom? That she's like,
The plastic surgery one.
was it about that? But it was like, I thought she would watch the show because it's like about an immigrant coming to the country and trying to assimilate. Because that's what my mom did. But then I found out she was actually into the show because she just rips on the people or something. I forgot what it was. It's a joke I used to do. I don't remember. I don't even remember my mom's opinion. That's how bad my memory is. But she had an opinion that was not what you would expect, hence comedy. Much like magic, look over here, but it's over here. That's how comedy works. My mom, immigrant, you think she'll like 90 Day Fiancé because of this? Nope, she likes watching people cry.
We get the gist. What?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Is this a real thumb or a fake thumb?
No thumb, no fake thumbs. Thumbs over here. Watch this. This is an ordinary paper towel. I'm going to teach you how to do it. Ready? This is called the French drop. Okay, ready?
Sounds sexual.
Make it to it. Can you see my hands completely? I don't want you to think I'm...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you take it in your hand,
Whoa.
Wow.
but it's right there.
Wow.
This is now the French pass. You see it? Watch. You put it in your hand.
Whoa. Oh my God.
Now here's the other one. Now you get to guess which hand it's in. Right here. Which hand do you think it's in? Hands have been in front of you the whole time.
Left. Or you're right, my left. Yeah.
This one, Emma?
Yeah.
Do you want to change it?
No.
Wow.
Ready?
Neither.
Completely gone.
Wow. It makes me feel like nothing that happens in France is consensual. Because it's like, it's the French drop.
Say that again?
That nothing that happens in France is consensual. Because it's like, will this happen? Well, it did. Is it over here?
This is the French drop. It smells.
Was I wearing a prophylactic?
What?
I wasn't. I like using big words for things because then it still constitutes as clean. Like instead of saying intercourse, I said whoopee and coitus. And like now it's a science class.
Intercourse is pretty scientific.
Yeah, I know, that's another option. But instead of just saying straight sexing, you throw in whoopee and coitus.
You can't get too scientific. It's never going to work. You can't put a question mark at the end of the word intercourse and expect to get that.
Intercourse?
You walking intercourse?
Apparently you don't know how I hit on Emma, but...
You're like, how about outer course, buddy? Take care of it on your own, pal. Okay.
Emma's like, I'm thinking about taking an online course, and I'm like, intercourse?
Huh?
And then I do this until she says, get out of here.
You start puffing your feathers.
So silly.
I'm serious. You guys have never seen a guy from Dubai with a hawk?
Oh,
Just a big ass hawk, and he's like, "Look at my hawk."
Anymore.
All right, I'm sorry. I feel like it's a thing.
Oh yeah, I see it.
See, every time I'm on Instagram, they're like showing off exotic animals that they have at their house, but they always start with the hawk, and then they eventually bring out like the zebras or something. I think the algorithm knows I like animals. I like how I brought it up.
This guy?
Yeah, look at that guy. Look, he barely Googled it. He just Googled hawk, and there's already a guy from Dubai holding one. I think that's how hawks show up on the internet. There's a guy from Dubai holding one. And they always have the leash.
If you say guy from Dubai one more time, it's going to start sounding like a rap. There's a guy from Dubai, and he's got a hawk.
Oh no, the fingers came out.
This is, by the way, I can do this because I'm comfortable with you guys, but I've been remember when I was at the Super Bowl party and I had 2 drinks in me and I started dancing, and then it was during the halftime show or right after the halftime show. Oh no, I got a cookie. I got a cookie and I was all jacked up on the sugar, so I was dancing, and then there's a couple people there that don't know me that well, and they're just kind of like, all right, and I was just really feeling it, and you were cheering me on. So you're into it, but you were the only one in the room that was on my team with the fingers and the pointing. This is when you know I'm having a real good time. This is a genuine happy dance right here. And it rubs off. You do it now, too.
I do it, too.
Yeah, you join me. My favorite thing is I'll come in the room, and she loves dancing so much, sometimes I'll just start dancing, and she'll be like in the middle of reading a book, and she'll be like, what? Like the amount of time
I can't help it.
The amount of time it takes her to stop what she's doing, no matter how important, to join an impromptu dance with no music playing. There's no music happening. Is incredible. It's like how quickly Tesla accelerates from 0 to 60. It's like boom, I'm already what? So anyway, that was pointless. That was apropos of nothing.
Still fun.
It's still a good time. I think that's most of this podcast. It's apropos of nothing. I wrote down a couple things. Notes. Do you know about this asteroid? That's the city killer asteroid that's coming towards the world.
2036?
Yes.
Something like that?
It's in 7 years. Yeah. Every time I go on YouTube and there's a new news story about it, they say that the odds of it hitting have gone up. Every time I look, they're like, it's gone up, but it's still like at the giggle level where people are like, and it reminds me.
I think at a certain point we can come up with a get Ben Affleck on it, right? Like we could find a way to get it out of here.
Eventually, it's gonna. I feel like this reminds me of Trump's rise in 2015 during the primaries, because there was like 1,000 Republican nominees and Trump was in last place, and he had like 1% of the vote. And all the other candidates were ripping on him. They're like, this guy's a joke. And then slowly the percentages started coming up. And people are like, oh, all right, okay. And then it's coming up. And then eventually all the Republicans that he beat were like, no, this guy's great. And I think that's going to happen with the asteroid. I think the asteroid started at 1%. We're going to laugh at it. Then it's going to beat 50%. We're like, this is actually good that the asteroid's coming. I want to be on the asteroid's side once it makes impact and goes.
That's so scary.
I know. It's not going to end, based on what I've heard, if it hits. It will just destroy whatever it hits beyond recognition. But the rest of us will the rest of us will be fine.
Whew, man. Wouldn't that be nice if it hit? Where would you want it to hit if you had to pick a place?
Well, first of all, I would assume that it's going to hit and they're going to know where it is so they can evacuate people. But I mean, man, the world is so big. The odds are
end it already. Like
it's gonna hit the ocean. Yeah. That's the most logical because
that's bad.
Yeah, because then there's a wave.
Yeah,
big wave.
Yeah, I think we should let it hit somewhere like in a remote forest. I mean, I'd hate the animals to have to go, but somewhere where there's not a lot of life loss, and then it doesn't cause a massive tidal wave that floods 48 coastlines.
Yeah, isn't Siberia a bunch of nothing?
Yeah, let's do a desert.
Yeah. Like Siberia, the frozen tundra, it just hits a bunch of ice.
A desert, the tundra, the Arctic, Mar-a-Lago. There's so many options that we could come up with that are logical.
That's so smooth.
That was very smooth. Yeah, but like hopefully it just hits one of those. But it is funny every time I turn it on because it started at like 0.5% chance, and now I think it's up to like 2%. Maybe by the time this episode comes out, it will be like a 5% chance.
I feel like every time they play one of those videos, there's always like a scientist that goes, "Yeah, it's still very unlikely."
Yes,
which it is, right?
It is very unlikely because it's like 1 in 50.
Yeah,
and I always think of sports gambling, like 1 in 50. That's now I feel like there's a lot of pressure because I can't elaborate on 1 in 50, but it's not good odds.
Well, if Vegas is taking odds on those odds and they're running those numbers on this asteroid, I'm gonna put $50 down because it's $50 versus 5,000 if it hits. I'm gonna need some money to restart my society.
Unless it lands in Vegas and all the money gets blown away.
Ooh.
That's not a bad. Well, no, I like Vegas. I have so much fun there. I don't want it to hit. There has to be desolate. There's a place in China. There's a city in China that like nobody lives in, and
there's dozens of them.
Yeah, but there's one there's one specifically that was started by the government, thinking it was going to be this huge metropolis. We watched a YouTube video about it.
It was so creepy.
And it's completely empty. There's like 4 people that live there.
And they made it look like Paris.
Yeah, they made it. Yes, they made it look like Paris. Nobody lives there. There's like 4 people there.
Like they have a real life size Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
And like the streets look exactly the same.
But nobody lives there. And the few people that live there, they could just evacuate them, and then that would take care of that mistake.
I think they call them ghost cities. Because they're fully built, functioning with transportation and trains, and just no one ever moved.
Can you imagine like a bus driver just opening the door and just nobody comes on, and he just has to he's just stuck in this weird loop where it's like Severance, he like can't leave work, and he's just constantly opening the bus door and no one comes on. It's terrifying.
Are you guys watching Severance?
We just started.
And you're already making references.
I only need an episode and a half. See, that's
I think it probably is the best show in the last 20 years.
Whoa! How many seasons are there?
It's so good. 2 it was a 5-year span because there was the pandemic, writer's strike, the production company folded. Like there were so many things that went wrong, and they couldn't get that second season off. So it took 5 years for that second season to come out.
Perfect. So we have some episodes to watch.
It's incredible.
We got 2 seasons to watch because we just started.
The 6th episode of the season 2 is about to come out. I rewatched the whole first season and came back so I could, because it's been 5 years, and I wanted to watch it. It's just so good.
I will say this as far as casting goes. I just realized this because the main actor, he's not a 30-year-old anymore. But I have noticed that Hollywood is casting older actors that they used to not. Like once you hit your 40s, it used to be like a death blow in acting for men and women, and they would just get rid of people. But now they're like that entire cast seems like they're over 40. That's good. That's good for us. Me and Mike, huh? I think about that. I don't know, but I'm into the show. You think it's creepy?
Yeah.
But in a good way.
It is creepy, but it's great. Yeah.
I love it.
They did a big marketing stunt. Did you see that in Grand Central Station? Right before the second season hit, they built this big glass box in the middle of Grand Central, and then all the main actors came out and like did a work. They were like in a work day in the office of Luminol or whatever.
I didn't realize that was for that show.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
I wonder how much they got paid for that.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I think of. I'm like, how much did it take for them to sit in a box in Grand Central? Like, these are real actors. This is Adam Scott for crying out loud. Like, that's great. That's so
we have
funny.
to do it for the SAG minimum. That's what we have to do. Whatever.
Yeah, it's an appearance fee based on PR.
It's not air conditioned, so it's going to be weird in there. But yeah, so that asteroid's coming. But at least we'll get to finish the show before then. I mean, it's in 7 years. It'll be 2032. I mean, how much longer did we really want to go
Yeah.
with all this Earth stuff? I know it's not going to end it, but let's just say it did. How much longer did we really want to keep pushing this thing with the Earth and the humanity and the this and the that, and I hate you and you hate me? Like, how much longer until... Do we need a moment of just a burning asteroid coming to the Earth and we're like... And then we turn to our rival and go, I'm sorry. And then... Or is that too dark? That's too dark. I apologize. That's too dark.
Well, I think the reality would be... Still hate you. This isn't over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. Sorry, I feel like I brought the energy down.
You did.
This is like when I was doing crowd work at that corporate gig in Evansville, and I found out this guy in the front row works in collections at a bank and in the mortgage department, so he steals people's homes. And the entire energy of that theater went away. I was like, I feel like this was because... You have a job of evil, and you should have lied. You should have told me you opened a Cold Stone or something, and I could have went on with my set.
You tell me you deport immigrants. Like, give me something slightly less bad as that.
Just lie.
It's a good landing, though. It's a soft landing. You can't end the podcast with high, super high. Just bring it down to a slow.
I think we need,
And then we land the plane.
Yeah, we're at 50 minutes.
Oh, we are?
I think so.
No.
According to my...
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah, that went by.
That was a great episode.
I got to tell you, before we recorded, I'm going to call you out.
Call me out.
And you're like, hey, you're going to really have to keep me engaged for the second episode. And I was like, what should I do? Should I ask you a lot of questions? She goes, no, I don't want that. And I was like, well, what do I do? She's like, I don't know, but just keep...
Don't talk to me or no.
But just keep me engaged.
But figure it out.
It's just hard when we do 2 episodes back to back. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what it is. Whenever it hits like 50 minutes, my brain just slows down.
I feel like I do that in social settings. When we're hanging out with a group of people, it gets to about 50 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, when are we going to call it? And then someone's like, Yahtzee? You want to play Yahtzee? And then I'm like, well, that's another 45 minutes right there.
Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a hell of an episode. Mike, I love this setup in the apartment. Because now we have cooler lighting than what you got.
Yeah, you really got to step it up.
Yeah, this is weep and glow.
I just have a caricature of me and Becca. That's my only
I see that. I see that in the back. It's adorable.
She hates it. She's like, why do I look Puerto Rican? Stop wearing hoop earrings. Is that my fault?
I love ending the episode with just a hint of subtle racism.
Just so,
not racism.
Racial.
Well, anyway, thank you for listening, downloading, sharing, subscribing. Be good people.
What?
It's supposed to be the big. The more it's over. The show is over. Bye, everybody. I don't know how to start or end. I don't know how to tell you that. Goodbye.
Bye.
That was fun. Now it's over.
Trekking heavier, traveling light. There's one thing that's right wherever I go. That's where I am.